Hear the word of truth that breaks the chains of poverty and awakens the heir to his inheritance. You were never created to be a servant of money, you were born to command it. Before the foundations of the earth were laid, the Infinite declared, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion." Dominion is not the posture of begging, it is the posture of command. Dominion is not pleading for scraps, it is the sovereign right to call forth what belongs to you by divine appointment. Say aloud now with authority, "I am the image of the Creator, I am the heir of the Infinite. I am not subject to money, money is subject to me." The moment you speak it, the vibration of your identity begins to shift, for the spirit of lack cannot abide in the presence of such a declaration. You have been trained by the world to see yourself as a seeker, a struggler, a borrower, but heaven sees you as an heir. You have been conditioned to bow to the marketplace, to chase opportunities, as though they were masters over you. But I tell you by the Spirit of truth, the world was made for your use, not for your worship. Money is a tool, it is not a throne. Wealth is a servant, it is not your ruler. As long as you see it as greater than you, you will crawl before it. As soon as you see yourself as greater in the order of divine hierarchy, it must come at your call. Say aloud and let your heart burn as you speak. I am above the flow of the world's economy. I draw from the infinite supply. I am the master of wealth because I am one with the source of all wealth. Many have thought that humility means to accept lack. This is not humility, it is forgetfulness of your birthright. True humility is the recognition that the wealth you command is not your own but the Infinite's, entrusted to you as a steward. To see yourself as powerless is to insult the giver. To rise in your true stature is to glorify the one who made you. You were given voice to speak, thought to envis, ion, and faith to command. These are not the tools of slaves, they are the scepters of kings. Lift up your head therefore and say aloud, "I take back my crown. I awaken to my rightful place. I am the vessel of divine supply." Understand this eternal principle. Identity governs destiny. As long as you identify as the needy, you magnetize need. As long as you identify as the wealthy in spirit, you magnetize wealth in form. The law cannot be mocked. The seed produces after its own kind. You have sown the seed of lack by calling yourself poor, by confessing smallness, by seeing yourself as separate from abundance. Now sow a new seed with new words. Say aloud, "I am the abundant one. I am rooted in limitless supply. I call forth the substance of wealth as a rightful heir calls for his inheritance." The unseen realm will answer, for the universe bends to the vibration of true identity. There is no power outside you that determines your prosperity. There is only the recognition or the den of who you truly are. The world may say, "You were born in scarcity," but heaven says, "You were born of the word that multiplies." The world may count your banknotes, but heaven counts your faith. The world may see you as empty-handed, but heaven sees you as seated in inexhaustible supply. The time has come to agree with heaven. Withdraw your agreement with limitation. Break covenant with lack. Say aloud with the fire of conviction. Say, renounce the lie of insufficiency. I embrace my divine identity as the master of wealth. I am not at the mercy of the market. I command the market to respond to me. This is not mere affirmation, it is the alignment of the soul with the unchanging law of dominion. The child of the Infinite does not beg for coins in the street of circumstance. The child of the Infinite looks to the unseen source and speaks with the authority of sonship. When you rise in this consciousness, fear dissolves, shame departs, timidity crumbles. You no longer wait for opportunities to permit you. You declare opportunities to appear. You no longer chase after resources. You call them to your side. You no longer see wealth as in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was the seed of all substance, and the Word still governs the movement of money. Hear it, and let it pierce your soul. The universe does not respond to your silent fears but to your spoken decrees. You have thought of money as matter, but money is vibration wrapped in form, and vibration obeys the voice of the one who knows the law. You have prayed in secret, yet spoken in doubt. and your world has mirrored your divided tongue. You have whispered of abundance in the quiet of your heart, but proclaimed lack in the marketplace, and the echo has returned to you as empty purses and delayed harvests. The law of the spoken word cannot be mocked. It gives back what you give out. Therefore rise today in the authority of revelation and say aloud, I am the voice of divine decree. I speak to money, It hears me. I do not speak of lack. I declare abundance. I do not curse my supply. I bless it, and it multiplies. Understand this eternal truth, your tongue is, and then call it a struggle in public. They ask for open doors, and then declare that nothing ever works for them. Double speech builds double walls. The law does not respond to what you wish in silence. It responds to what you consistently proclaim. Therefore, guard your mouth as a holy gate. Let no word of defeat cross your lips. Let no murmuring of lack escape your breath. Say aloud, I am the prophet of my own supply. I speak life over my money. I speak increase over my work. I speak favor over my path. You must know that money, though it appears inert, is alive to vibration. It is drawn to voices of command and flees from voices of fear. It is like a servant awaiting instruction. If you treat it as distant or hostile, it will remain distant. If you call it forth as a trusted messenger, it will come. This is why you must not merely think about wealth. You must speak to it. You must address it as a subject of your dominion. Say aloud in the morning, On money, I give you holy assignment. Go forth into the world. Return with multiplied increase. Obey the law of good, and remain in my service. Say it with boldness at night, and I bless the flow of my wealth. I bless every channel through which it moves. I send my word ahead of me and prepare the way for money to arrive unhindered. The spoken word is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. Without it, your thoughts remain unplanted dreams. With it, your intentions take root and bear fruit. Do not let fear seal your lips. Open your mouth as the oracle of divine decree. Speak even in the face of empty accounts. Speak when the purse is light. Speak when the bills are heavy. Say aloud with unwavering tone, I call forth the gold that is mine by right of divine inheritance. I summon the channels of increase that await my command. I bless the works of my hands and call them prosperous. The mountain does not move because you beg it. It moves because you speak to it. Shunat, power is not in the coin but in the word that Shah pes the coin's course. The river of supply is guided by the banks of your confession. Build banks wide enough for hear the voice that awakens the sleeping soul. Abundance is not a distant prize. It is a present vibration. You cannot hold the song of lack in your heart and expect the dance of wealth to surround you. The law is unchanging, like attracts like. Vibration calls its own. Every thought you think, every emotion you harbor, every word you speak is a note in the great symphony of your life. And money, like all substance, moves toward the sound that matches its own. You say you desire wealth but live in the tone of worry. You speak of increase but vibrate with fear. You hope for freedom but dwell in the heaviness of doubt. This is why the door remains closed, not because heaven withholds, but because you have not tuned your instrument to the melody of plenty. Say aloud now with unflinching authority, align my vibration with the frequency of abundance. I cast off the tones of fear. I rise to the song of infinite supply. Let the very cells of your being hear you. Let the field around you feel your decree. The universe is not deaf, it responds to resonance. When your inner atmosphere hums with gratitude, with expectation, with joy, the outer world cannot resist the call. It rearranges itself to deliver what matches your inner state. The vibration of abundance is not grasping, it is not anxious, it is not impatient, it is steady, confident, expansive, radiant. It knows that the supply is already present, waiting to be claimed. Understand this eternal law. Wealth is first a state of consciousness before it is a state of possession. If you try to seize it while your heart beats with fear, you repel it. If you pursue it while vibrating with unworthiness, it slips through your fingers. But if you stand as one who already possesses, if you breathe as one already supplied, if you speak as one already full, the substance begins to take form around you. Say aloud, Be believe. live in the vibration of wealth. I walk as one surrounded by increase. I dwell in the atmosphere of divine plenty. Each word sown with faith shifts the frequency of your being, and as the frequency shifts, so does the flow of your life. You must stop rehearsing the language of limitation. Every complaint is a drumbeat of scarcity. Every sigh of despair is a chord of resistance. Every memory of failure replayed in your mind drags your vibration back to the dust. Break the rhythm of lack by introducing the rhythm of abundance. Begin your mornings by declaring, and live in the ever-flowing current of supply. I receive with joy. I give with confidence. I lack nothing. End your days with the same decree. Let your speech be music that calls the wealth to your door. Let your thoughts be harmonies that draw in the resources you require. Do not wait for the evidence to feel abundant. Feeling is the key that unlocks the gate. The universe does not respond to your longing, it responds to your state. When you rejoice as though the provision is already here, you magnetize it. When you give thanks in advance, you prove you trust the source. Say aloud, I feel the reality of abundance now. I give thanks before I see. I am already provided for in the unseen, and the seen must conform. This is not imagination for its own sake. It is the spiritual act of tuning your whole being to the broadcast of prosperity. You are a living magnet, and your field is charged by the emotions you permit. Guard it as a sacred altar. Refuse the vibration of envy, for it corrodes the signal. Refuse the vibration of fear, for it distorts the tone. Refuse the vibration of shame, for it weakens your call. Clothe yourself in the vibration of praise, in the vibration of worthiness, in the vibration of generosity. As you do, doors open without struggle, helpers appear without delay, and money flows without resistance. Say it once more, and say it as one who knows the power behind the word. I'm aligned with the frequency of abundance. I think richly, I feel richly, I speak richly. I dwell in the vibration of increase. Let it roll through your spirit until every cell responds, until the very air around you hums with the note of plenty. The law is sure. When you vibrate as one with the supply must appear. The unseen becomes seen, the promised becomes present, the word becomes wealth. Hear this eternal decree that breaks the chains of fear and awakens the authority of your true estate. You were never created to bow before money. You were created to reign over it. The spirit that breathed you into being gave you dominion, not dependence. Begging is the language of those who have forgotten their inheritance. Command is the language of those who know who they are. As long as you plead with money as if it were a capricious master, it will remain distant and indifferent. But when you speak to it as one clothed in divine authority, it must obey the sound of your word. Say aloud with unwavering tone, I do not beg for my provision, I call it forth. I do not chase after money, I summon it. I do not shrink before it. I send it as my obedient servant. Money is not a tyrant, it is a messenger of energy, an obedient tool waiting for instruction. It takes on the nature you assign to it. If you fear it, it resists you. If you despise it, it flees from you. If you exalt it, it enslaves you. But if you command it in alignment with divine law, it becomes a faithful servant. The world has trained you to chase it, to pray for it in desperation, to wait for it as though it were a god to be appeased. This is an illusion. The law of spirit declares that substance is subject to the spoken word of the one who knows the source. Say aloud and let it echo through your being, and the air of infinite supply. I speak to money as one with rightful authority. I send it where it must go. I call it back when I have need of it. It moves at my decree because I move at T. He decree of the infinite. The beggar waits for a door to open. The one who commands speaks to the door and it opens of itself. The beggar looks to circumstance for permission. The one who commands addresses the circumstance and it bends to the word. This is not arrogance, it is alignment with the original design. You have begged long enough, prayed without expectation, whispered your hopes as if you were unworthy to speak them aloud. Now the trumpet sounds and the time of begging is over. The age of command has come. Stand in the dignity of your spiritual inheritance and speak to your money as a living force awaiting direction. Say aloud in the morning, Pent money, go forth and serve my divine assignments. Flow into my hands for righteous use. Fulfill your purpose as a messenger of increase. Say aloud at night, one money, return multiplied from every direction. Obey the law of good and remain under my stewardship. Speak it until the vibration of command replaces the vibration of pleading. The mountains do not move for the one who merely wishes, they move for the one who speaks. Money does not gather itself for the one who complains, it organizes itself for the one who commands. This is the law that cannot be broken. The spoken word charged with faith is the scepter of dominion in the realm of substance. You were given a mouth not merely to describe your need, but to declare your inheritance. Refuse from this hour to utter another begging prayer over your finances. Replace it with a commanding decree born of faith. Say aloud, I do not chase what is already mine by divine right. I command the channels of supply to open. I direct money to appear for every good work. I bless it as it comes, and I release it to circulate with increase. Know this: when you stand as one who commands, you do not need to strive or manipulate. You need only speak the word and remain in alignment with it. Money, like a faithful servant, hastens to fulfill the clear and confident command of the Master who speaks in the name of the divine. Do not tremble at appearances. Appearances bow to authority. Do not wait for signs of increase to speak boldly. Bold speech brings the increase. Let your tongue carry the tone of sovereignty, not supplication. Let your words be simple, direct, and unshaken. Say it now with the fire of recognition. I have been sent to rule, not to plead. I have been given the word of command, not the cry of desperation. I call forth the substance I require. I direct it to serve the vision that has been entrusted to me. I stand in my true estate as a steward of divine wealth, and money hears my voice. Let this be your language henceforth. Let every cell of your being resonate with the certainty that the unseen forces respond to your spoken decree. And as you speak, watch the scattered resources gather. The locked gates swing open, and the obedient servant called money come running to fulfill its rightful purpose under your command. Hear this word that pierces the veil of appearances and sets the soul upon an immovable rock. Lack is not real substance, it is a shadow cast by fear and unbelief. The unseen supply is as present as the air you breathe, yet fear blinds the eyes and convinces the heart that it is absent. You must learn to stand when all else trembles, to believe when sight contradicts you, to decree abundance when the purse lies empty. Faith is the hand that draws from the invisible storehouse, and without that steadfast hand, the richest supply cannot reach you. Say aloud with unwavering voice, I will not bow to the illusion of lack. I will not confess deficiency. I hold to the truth that my supply is secure and cannot be withheld. Every time you look to the outer world for proof of abundance, you give power to the lie. The outer world is a moving picture, a mirror of yesterday's belief. It shows you what you have thought, not what must be. When you see the dwindling account, the unpaid bill, the empty cupboard, do not surrender your faith to those fleeting shapes. Stand as one who knows that the unseen realm is the source, and that appearances are but shadows. Say aloud, though I see emptiness, I know the storehouses of heaven overflow. Though I hear the voice of fear, I trust the voice of truth. My good cannot be delayed, it is present and ready to appear. Faith is not soft sentiment, it is bold command. It does not whisper hope while bowing to appearances, it speaks as though the thing is already done. The illusion of lack loses its hold only before the steadfast gaze of one who refuses to waver. You must learn to silence the inner argument, to shut the door on the reports of limitation, and to lift up the scepter of unshaken trust. Say aloud even in the hour of need, and refuse to dignify lack with my fear. I declare that my channels are many, though I cannot yet see them. I proclaim that I am supplied from the limitless source, and what is mine cannot be taken from me. Do not measure the fullness of the source by the appearance of the season. A field may look bare in winter, yet beneath the soil the seed is alive. Your blessing is often germinating unseen. To doubt because you do not yet see the sprout is to uproot what you have sown. Hold your ground, praise before the harvest, Give thanks while the branches are still bare. Faith is the proof of supply unseen. Say aloud, I rejoice in what is already given, though my eyes behold it not. I bless the invisible increase even now. I refuse to curse my portion by speaking lack. I speak life to my harvest, and it shall come forth. The illusion of lack is a test, a mirage that appears to see if you will be moved by sight or by truth. When you stand unshaken, the illusion dissolves, and the unseen abundance rushes into view. When you waver, you delay your own supply. Fear contracts the channel, faith widens it. Anxiety closes the gate, confidence opens it. Therefore, hold your mind as a fortress. Refuse entrance to thoughts, bar the door against the voices of despair. Clothe your heart in the armor of gratitude and expectation. Say aloud, I will not shrink before appearances. I will not be shaken by reports of loss. I am anchored in the truth that supply is here, supply is sure, supply is mine. Every soul that has walked in the fullness of abundance has passed through the wilderness of apparent lack. Yet they endured because they saw beyond the illusion. You too must pass through it, but you need not bow to it. See it as the veil it is. Speak to it as one having authority. Say aloud, Seat I see through you, shadow of lack. You have no substance, no power, no claim on me. I am rooted in the infinite good. I live in the field of constant provision. I walk in the flow of increase that cannot be diminished. Let these words become the rhythm of your soul. Let them replace every tremor of doubt. Let them steady you in the face of delay. For the law is certain, what you persist in believing, you call form. If you persist in believing the illusion, it lingers. If you persist in believing the truth, it manifests. Therefore, be relentless in your faith. Be immovable in your declaration. Stand as a tower against the winds of fear. Lift your voice as one already crowned with provision. Say aloud once more with unshaken tone, Say and I stand firm in the truth of endless supply. I cannot be moved by lack, for lack is not real. I abide in the abundance of the infinite, and abundance abides in me. And as you stand thus, the shadow will vanish, and the wealth that was always near will step into the light of your experience. Hear this decree of eternal order. Wealth was never meant to be trapped, hoarded, or clutched in fear. It was created to move, to breathe, to circulate as the lifeblood of divine supply. The river that is dammed in selfishness grows stagnant, but the river that flows in trust grows wider and deeper with every passing tide. The one who clings in dread begins to feel the very thing he grasps slipping away, but the one who gives in faith sees the doors of increase swing wide. The law of circulation is not man's invention, it is heaven's command woven into the fabric of all creation. Day follows night, seed follows harvest, tide follows tide, and wealth too must move in holy rhythm. Say aloud with unshaken tone, I release in order to receive. I give in trust and I receive in abundance. I keep the current of supply flowing, and it flows ever more richly to me. Understand that money is not a lifeless thing, it is a channel of divine energy, a messenger carrying provision to fulfill good purposes. When you block its movement by fear or grasping, you break the rhythm of its dance. When you send it forth with blessing and purpose, you align with the current of the infinite, and the current cannot help but return to you multiplied. Many have wondered why their wealth dwindles, though they hold it tight. It is because they strangled the flow. Many have marveled, how their increase expands though they give liberally. It is because they trusted the law. This law cannot fail, for it is rooted in the very heartbeat of the universe. Say aloud with the voice of faith, I am not a stagnant pool. I am a living channel of divine circulation. I do not hoard in fear, I release in confidence. I trust that every gift I give opens a greater gate for my own increase. I bless the flow of my wealth, and it blesses me in return. Speak this not as sentiment but as decree, for as you speak, so it becomes. The gate you close by clinging in anxiety remains shut. The gate you open by releasing in faith becomes a pathway for ever greater supply. Do not believe the lie that giving diminishes you. Giving is not loss, it is sowing. The farmer does not mourn when he releases his seed into the earth. He rejoices because he knows it will return as a multiplied harvest. So too must you give with expectation, not as charity born of pity, but as planting born of trust. Say aloud, every release I make is seed in fertile soil. Every offering I send forth returns in multiplied form. I am not diminished by giving, I am enlarged. This is the vibration of the true steward, and this vibration keeps the current of wealth in motion. Many look to money as if it were their savior and in clinging to it, lose sight of the source. The source is unending, and the channel is only one of many. When you release with faith, you declare to the universe that your trust is not in the channel, but in the source that never runs dry. That declaration of trust calls forth new channels, new streams, new doors of provision. Say aloud, I give without fear because I draw from the infinite well. I circulate freely because I know the river of supply can never be exhausted. I honor the law of circulation, and the law honors me. Guard your thoughts as carefully as your words. If you give with a grudging heart, you plant a withered seed. If you give while secretly fearing loss, you delay the harvest. But if you release with joy, bless the recipient, and give thanks for the opportunity to keep the river flowing, you prepare a swift and abundant return. The circulation of wealth is as sure as the return of the tide, only doubt can delay it. Therefore cast off the garment of reluctance, and clothe yourself in the garment of gratitude. Say it again with the cadence of command, and I am a vessel, not a vault. I am a conduit of divine plenty. I do not fear release, for every gift I give is multiplied, and returns to me by right of the law. I keep the wealth flowing, and the wealth keeps me flowing in ever-rising streams. Let this confession saturate your mind, break the chains of fear, and tune your whole being to the eternal rhythm of give and receive. As you align with the law of circulation, doors that once seemed shut will open of their own accord, sources of provision you never imagined will appear, and the river of wealth will not merely pass by you but will flow rough you, making you both a receiver and a distributor of unending abundance.